Hi everyone, here are the books that are on my list for the first half of 2025. Okay. The first one that I would recommend, I highly recommend this book. This is my absolute favorite book along with The Alchemist. But this right here, from the list that I'm going to give you, this is the first book I would recommend you read. This book is called As a Man Thinketh, and it is about mindset. We have to be mindful of the way that we speak to ourselves. We have to be conscious and we have to be positive, and we have to find ways to combat our negative thoughts. And that's where As a Man Thinketh comes in. As a man thinketh, so is he. How do we see ourselves? How do we project ourselves? What kind of mindset does one have? Do you have a positive view of yourself, or do you have a negative view of yourself? Because the way how you identify yourself is how you're going to come across to others. That's one. Two, this is my absolute favorite book when it comes to building a product. And the name of this book is Show Your Work. Show up. There are those of us who will, not just will, there are those of us who have ideas and there are things that we want to do. And we do those things quietly behind the scene. But if you never put your work out there, no one will know what you're good at. Are you an artist, a dressmaker, a cosmetologist, a stylist, a barber? Whatever it is that you do, you need to show your work. You cannot have any of the skills that I've mentioned above and then one day decided, oh, you know what, I need to come up with a product, and then you just bring the product out and show the public your product. No, you're not going to make any sale if it's sale that you want. People need to get to know you. You need to come online, you need to talk about the product that you're making, and also, most importantly, you need to show them the behind the scene. So they're an integral part of the process. So when you finally come out with the product, they will support you. Some people will support you because they have been on the journey with you. People want to be on the journey with you. Another one of my all-time favorite, my absolute all-time favorite, is The Richest Man in Babylon. I love this book because this book is not just about finances. Dr. Clausen said, a tenth of what you earn is yours to keep. So whatever it is that you earn after you pay, before you even pay the bills, thing is that you need to take 10% of it. But that's not the only reason why I love this book. I love this book because it speaks about life in general. It really breaks down the urgency of life and the things that we need to do. And also, one of the highlights in it for me is when you get an opportunity, seize that opportunity because that opportunity may not come again. This book I recommend for every young person, every parent out there should get this book and have their child read this book before their child finishes high school. Because guess what? We were taught nothing about finances in school. Absolutely nothing for the most part. It's not mandatory that you learn about asset, liabilities, and how to manage your finances and how to budget as a young person. We were not taught those things. And this book here teaches young people how to go about budgeting and finances. This is a great book. Another book I highly recommend as well for young people is Rich Dad, Poor Dad. This is a very, very good book, and a lot of people have sworn by this book. I read a lot of books in 2020, and the book that stood out for most people was this book. I implore every parent who has a child to buy this book and let them read it, or even borrow it from the library. Read it for yourself, and also as an incentive to your child, tell them that you'll give them something if they read it. I promise you, you won't regret. These two books are my favorite books for young adults. Not just young adults, for adults as well. But there's so much to be gained as a young adult. So please get these two books for your kids or your family or your friends or your cousins, nieces, and nephews. This book right here is my absolute favorite book for someone wanting to start a business. I so love this book by Noah Kagan because the reality is the way he brings across the information about starting a business, he had so much perspective that I have never actually thought about. And for one of the things that stood out for me from this book is the fact that whenever we start a business and we are putting the plans in place for that business, we often tend to come from a place of owner. What I like, I'm going to put out this product because I like it and I feel like people in the marketplace will like it. No, we have to do beta testing. We have to find out if the product that we're about to build, does the audience needs that product? Do a test. For example, let's say you want to deliver food. You want to have a food delivery service where you provide food for people who are busy. Get a group of your friends, write an email, put a number to it. Oh, I'm having this event and I'm going to charge $20 to come to the event and food will be provided. And if you cook the food or you have somebody provide the food and they come and they enjoy it and they said, oh, they'll be willing to pay, then you gradually put it out there. But please do your research. And also it's important to remember Jeff Bezos, Steve Jobs, whenever they do anything for their company, they come from the perspective of the customers. Will the customer need this product? Will they like it? Beta testing, does the market receive it or they did not receive it or they won't make it? We have to start thinking about the customer and not to make products that we like. We want to find out if the customers would want it, and if they don't want it, then it's a no. This book right here, it's the book Deep Work. Denzel Washington has a saying that busyness does not mean productivity. You can be busy going nowhere. Deep Work speaks to taking time out, quality time, like setting aside 4 hours or 3 hours where you're just focused. Put the phone on airplane mode or put the phone away. No distraction. You get to the table or your area of study and you put everything in place that you're going to need during that time and do focus work. It's called blocking out time for focus work without distraction. I highly implore you to get this book. This book right here is for people like me, an overthinker, a person who get distracted with the newest shiny toy. I suffer from the shiny syndrome. I'll be doing something and something else comes along and I'm like, oh wow, and I pause and I go and take on that new thing. You have to put in your 10,000 hours. Whatever it is that you want to do, focus. Choose one thing only, commit to that thing and starve your distractions by focusing and completing the task at hand. The one thing, one of the best book you could ever read about doing that one thing. For example, if you're in Central Park and you see 2 pigeons and you're going after them, which one will you catch? Neither. One thing at a time. And here is my absolute favorite book on habits. This is my absolute favorite book on habits. This is Atomic Habits by James Clear. We do not rise to the level of our goals. We fall to the levels of our system. What system do you have in place to achieve your goals? Okay, let's say I want to lose weight. And at 10 pounds, for example, and I lose the 10 pounds. After that, then what? What system do I have in place to keep that weight off? And this is where system comes in place. Okay, I am going to walk daily. I am going to eat better. And I'm going to start making healthy life choices. That is why this book is important. It's one of the best books you could read about having a system in place. We're constantly failing because we do not have a system in place. Those are my books for the first half of 2025. It's extremely important to mention that you need to take actions upon reading those books that I have just mentioned. Yes, knowledge is important, but the greatest indicator of success is action. Please, 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 whatever you do upon reading those books, making notes, take actions. Actions is the greatest indicator of success.